All right. So hi guys. Today is the first session for the 2027 batch for the guidance program that Anan and I are running. Uh, so the purpose for today's session is to give you an overall understanding about the NLSAT exam. Not Yeah, overall understanding about the NLSAT exam, what each section demands, what you have to do for the entire year, what should your preparation look like. We'll give you a 360-degree view of all of that. Okay, so today's session is not really about getting deep into one particular aspect of the exam. We'll give you an overview of the exam. Okay, and also I'm not going to waste a lot of time explaining to you the pattern of the exam and everything. Like, all of that is publicly available, and I'm pretty sure that all of you are serious aspirants, so you must have gone through the website. You must have at least flipped through the previous year questions, so you understand what the exam is, at least, like, format wise, what the exam demands. There are two sections: part A, part B, objective, subjective. All of that I'm sure you guys already know. We'll just directly go into the preparation aspect of it. Not just preparation, I will tell you section by section what you have to, uh, what are the skills that you need, what is it that you need to show in each of those sections, right? We'll start with part B first, right? We'll start with part B first. Part B has two sections: legal aptitude and analytical essay. Legal aptitude, we have 12 marks into 5 questions and one analytical essay, which is for 15 marks, right? Also, okay, whoever is watching this right now, I mean, if you're in the session right now live, please write notes. Keep a note of this. And also, whoever is watching this on YouTube later on, please make notes of it. And today's session uh, is going to be your kind of like a lighthouse. Okay, this is going to be your guide for your entire year. So periodically you need to come back to this session. Okay, periodically you need to come back to the recording of this session so that your preparation is kind of aligned, narrowed down. You're not doing something that is not required, all of that. Okay, so please keep coming back to it. And today also, like, sit with a pen and paper, or digitally, however you wish to make notes. Please make notes. Mm, yeah, and please keep coming back to this session, recording of this session, periodically. Okay, so part B, 5 into 12, and then 1 15-mark essay. So we'll just start with the essay part. We'll go in reverse order. Essay is the last question. We'll deal with it first. Okay. Uh, Analytical essay, 15 marks. What are you expected to do in the analytical essay? Uh, it's a very simple thing. Okay, I'll give you. There are three things that you need to satisfy in a in the NLSAT analytical essay. Three things. Okay, knowledge of the issue, right? Knowledge of the issue, uh, cogent argumentation, right? That's the second thing. Third is structure, well structured essay. Okay, these three things, I'm not saying this out of the top of my head. This is given in the official website and the notification that they release every year, right? There are three things that you have to satisfy. Please understand this. In the 15-mark essay, three things you have to satisfy. Your essay should demonstrate these three things, right? Knowledge of the issue. Okay, I will talk about all of these things in detail, but knowledge of the issue, a lot of people get it wrong. Like, they don't really understand what knowledge of the issue is. Okay, that's the first thing that you have to satisfy: knowledge of the issue. Second thing is cogent argumentation, right? And third thing is well structured essay, right? These are the three things that you need to uh, show or demonstrate in your answer to get good marks in your 15-mark essay, right? So yeah, uh, coming to okay, so that's what you have to satisfy. Now, please understand this. Most of the NLSAT exam is skill based. Okay, skill based. That is reading comprehension and critical reasoning. Obviously, it's skill based, right? Uh, Legal aptitude, again, it is skill based. You have to solve legal aptitude then and there live. Okay, it's about solving. It's about it's not really about memorizing something and reproducing it on paper. It is about solving. Okay, so it's skill based. Even essay, Okay, a lot of people get this wrong. Essay is really not about memorizing a lot of things and kind of vomiting it on paper. That is not what you have to do. There are three aspects I told you. Only one aspect out of it, right? Knowledge of the issue requires some amount of general understanding of the world around you. Okay? Two out of three aspects that you have to fulfill in the analytical essay section, two out of three are skill based: cogent argumentation and structure. Okay? So understand this, that uh, when you prepare for the essay section for this one entire year, prepare with the assumption that you will not be able to satisfactorily fulfill the first ingredient, that is knowledge of the issue. Okay, just understand what I'm trying to say. Just your preparation should be oriented in such a way, you should prepare with such an assumption कि ऐसा कोई टॉपिक पूछ लेंगे जो आपको नहीं पता है. ठीक है. Even in such a situation, you will have to prepare yourself in such a manner that two out of those three ingredients that I spoke about, you are able to uh, mm, kind of score well on those two ingredients. Okay, so don't really worry too much about this knowledge of the issue part. Okay, a lot of people, I've given this exam twice and I've helped people who are writing this exam for 2 years straight now. So I know a lot of people worry about this, their worry about this essay part. Most of the people who worry about their essay part, their worry is that हमें इतना knowledge नहीं है, like we don't have enough knowledge to be able to write about a particular topic. That should be that should be the least of your worries. Okay, so what these people do, what most of the people do, is they get into this whole habit of knowledge accumulation. Okay, अरे ये भी important है, this topic is, they'll join 100 telegram groups, they'll get like PDFs of 100 coaching institutes, and every coaching institute will say that this topic is important, this topic is not important, that topic is important. So they will get into this whole mindset of memorization, right? I have to memorize this also. I have to memorize what scholar said about what, and I have to memorize the data also about some. I don't know, some report came out. I have to memorize all of that. None of that is important. Okay, none of that is important. When I'm saying knowledge of the issue, have a 360-degree view about things by reading the newspaper on a daily basis for one entire year. Okay, for one entire year, please read the newspaper, either the Hindu or the Indian Express. Please read it for one entire year, as if like make it into a habit. ठीक है, ये एक हैबिट है जो आपको रोज करना है. इट्स लाइक don't question it, right? It's just like brushing your teeth. Okay, that should be a part of your daily routine. Okay, every day just read the newspaper and just forget about the knowledge of the issue part. Okay, it will take care of itself. So don't really have to put extra efforts into it. That's what I'm trying to say. Second is cogent argumentation, and third is structure. So focus more on these two. I will tell you what steps you need to take for the entire year to kind of prepare yourself in such a manner that no matter what topic is asked of you, you are able to write something. You're at least, even if you don't know anything about, like, even if you have very little knowledge about the topic asked, you still can score decent enough marks in the essay section to kind of sail through the exam, right? So yeah, so this is, I'm going to give you a structure to follow. Okay, please note it down. I'm going to give you a structure to follow. And this is the structure, this is the framework for essay that you need to think of in the entire year. Okay, whenever you're preparing for essay, right? Okay, structure is very simple. Introduction. First is the introduction. Now, what does the introduction contain? An introduction to a good essay will contain the the contextual background of the issue. Okay, you need to ask yourself, why is this particular question or this particular debate, whatever question is given to you, what is the contemporary relevance of it right now? Okay, why are we talking about it today, right? That is the first question that you need to answer in your own mind and write it down in the introduction. An introduction, a good introduction will mm, contain the uh, contextual background of the issue, right? Or if it is too difficult at that point of time to remember why are we talking about this today, it can also contain kind of like a historical background of the issue, right? Or it can also, if none of this comes to your mind, right, it can also contain the definition of the topic being asked. ठीक है, अगर कोई डेमोक्रेसी पे ऐसे आ गया तो if this is just a very basic example, but like if डेमोक्रेसी पे कोई ऐसे आ गया तो डेमोक्रेसी का डेफिनेशन ही लिख दो. Okay, if nothing else comes to your mind, right? Or if an essay is asked about meritocracy, then just explain what meritocracy is. Okay, and then obviously you will get more marks if you bring in kind of contemporary events that are happening around you, uh, which kind of makes that particular topic important to talk about today. Okay, so that ideally should find a way in your introduction itself. Okay, so yeah, 5 to 6 sentences of introduction laying the contextual background, why it's important to talk about this debate, why is there a debate about this right now. Like for example, if right now what is the in our country, what is going on, education pe bahut debate ho rahi hai, right? So bring all of these things, NEET exam, the issue about the NEET exam, and obviously that has led to a lot of protests and CJP, all of those things you have to bring in. And is it a good idea to start with a rhetoric or a quote? You can start with a rhetoric or a quote. Yes. Bonseka is asking, is it a good idea to start with a rhetoric or a quote? Yes, you can. But see, understand this. In the introduction, ideally, you need to establish the relevance of the question. Okay. Every question will have some, if not immediate, like if not immediate, it may also have like a contemporary it might be a topic which is relevant, like evergreen. It might be an evergreen topic. Okay, uh, like meritocracy, for example, it's an evergreen topic. It's something that is debated throughout the year in some or the other context. Okay, so yeah, you need to show that you are an aware citizen. You know what is going on in the country. Like you need to kind of establish that establish that context about the topic in the introduction itself. Okay, so that's the first thing that you need to satisfy. The introduction should culminate. Okay, this is the most important thing. Introduction should culminate into a central thesis or a central argument. What is the argument that you are going to make? Almost all questions will have a prompt. Okay, and you need to make an argument about that prompt. Okay, in this essay, I will demonstrate that, or in this essay, I will argue that, or this essay argues that. Many people have this many people have this reluctance to use the word I in the essay, but really, like in legal essays, it's very normal for people. If you just read some of the essays, legal essays written by NLS faculty itself, all of them legal professionals, they generally use I will argue that. Okay, so there is nothing wrong in using first person, but if you're uncomfortable, you can also say this essay argues that, or this essay demonstrates that. But that statement has to be there, is what I'm trying to say. Introduction ke baad jo the last line of the introduction, or the last sentence of the introduction, should have a clear argument. Okay, it should either be 1 or 2 sentences, not more. In 1 or 2 sentences, you need to tell the examiner that आगे आने वाले पैराग्राफ्स में मैं ये आर्ग्यू करने वाली हूं. That is your central argument. That has to be there. That is compulsory. Compulsory. Okay, you have to do it. And yeah, like many people have this reluctance of kind of doing it, and there might be the reason is that a lot of people who appear for NLSAT also are UPSC aspirants. I think like the demand for a UPSC essay is extremely different. So please don't go by those standards. I don't know much about UPSC because I've never been an aspirant. I only know whatever I've learned about the exam from my friends and through other YouTube channels or whatever. But that is not the kind of essay that you need to write in NLSAT. यहाँ पे एक clear argument होना चाहिए. Okay, it's not really what Professor Manish said in his session, which is also freely available on YouTube. You all should watch it. It should not be like a laundry list of perspectives, and your perspective is totally missing. That kind of an essay does not work in an LSAT. Okay, so till now we have covered introduction, culminating into a central thesis or central argument. Okay, compulsorily you have to write central argument. In this essay, I will argue that blank, fill in the blanks. Okay, and answer the prompt. That if the prompt is is meritocracy a fair system, right? So your central argument will be, in this essay I will demonstrate that meritocracy is an unfair system. Okay, something like that. You can what position you take does not really matter. You can take whatever position you want, right? Depending upon the essay topic, you can also kind of take a third position where you're kind of uh, agreeing with the prompt in certain manners but not agreeing with the prompt in a certain other manner. So whatever it is that you are trying to argue, वो एक या दो सेंटेंस में आपको कोलैप्स करके लिखना है. Okay, it has to be one or two sentences at the end of the introduction, right? So I hope that's clear. Now you have to make sub arguments. Okay, sub argument 1, sub argument 2, sub argument 3. Okay, just aim for 3 right now. Okay, ज्यादा भी हो सकता है, but aim for 3 right now. And what is the purpose of what is the purpose of those 3 sub arguments? The 3 sub arguments that you write should strengthen the central thesis that you wrote, the central argument that you wrote. Okay, so let me just okay, so for example, let's just say, for example, you are asked whether meritocracy is a fair system, and you have written the central argument that meritocracy is not a fair system, it's an unfair system. So the sub arguments for that would be, why do you think meritocracy is unfair? ठीक है, उसके 3 points आप लिख दो. Like, meritocracy rewards advantages that people did not earn. That can be your first sub argument, and explain that. Okay, explain that, flesh out that argument properly. Second argument can be, merit is often defined by those already in power. So what is really merit? Okay, uska koi objective nature nahi hai. Like, whoever is in power, whatever they say, that becomes merit, right? So that can be another angle that you can explore and explain that point in this subsequent paragraph. And in the next paragraph after that, the third sub argument can be something like, meritocracy can justify inequality and stigmatize failure, something like that. And then explain that, right? So yeah, so 3 sub arguments you can think of, and each sub argument explain it. Sub argument explain, sub argument explain. What is the function of those 3 sub arguments that you'll write? What is the function of those 3 sub arguments? The function should be to strengthen the central argument that you have already written at the end of the introduction. Okay, introduction laying down the context, culminating with the central thesis. Sub argument 1, 2, 3, all 3 add up to make the central thesis. Okay, it should actually, the structurally, it should seem that way. It should feel that way, that when you sub argument 1 plus sub argument 2 plus sub argument 3 equal to central thesis, right? Did you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, sub argument 1 में जो आपने लिखा है, सब आर्ग्यूमेंट 2 में आपने जो लिखा है, सब आर्ग्यूमेंट 3 में आपने जो लिखा है, वो तीनों को ऐड करके देखोगे तो आंसर आपका आना चाहिए सेंट्रल थीसिस दैट यू ऑलरेडी रोट, राइट? दैट शुड बी हाउ यू structurally organize your essay, right? Somebody is asking, can we use hypothetical examples in the essay? Yes, you can use hypothetical examples in your essay. Like, for example, in sub argument 1, you wrote something. To explain that point, you want to use a hypothetical. You can use it, right? So I am just right now just talking about the structure, what you have to follow, and how you go about doing it by giving some evidence. Uh, okay, so a lot of I was talking in the initial earlier. I was talking about people worry a lot about this knowledge of the issue, right? People think that essay in the essay section you have to kind of memorize a lot of things, like Abhijit Banerjee said this about this, Amartya Sen said this about this. Yeah, all of that. If it comes naturally to you, if you're remembering it on that spot, it's good enough. You can write it. But then that should not be the point that I'm trying to make, is that that should not be the meat of your essay, right? Amartya Sen said this about X topic. That should be your sub, like that should be how you support your sub argument. Do you get what I'm trying to say? That should not be your main point. Okay, and even like what you're trying to say right now, Janvi is asking, can we use hypothetical examples in your essay? Yes, you can, but understand how you're going to use it. Hypothetical example, you're going to use it as an explanation to a sub argument that you've written. Okay, one sub argument, and to explain that you can bring in evidence. Okay, if by chance you remember something, some report you remember, or some contemporary event that you remember which supports your claim, or some scholar said something about something which supports your claim, that should be your supporting aspect of the sub argument, right? uh, yeah, so understand where you have to use what. The meat of the essay is what I just told you. Introduction, which lays down the context behind why we are talking about this issue today, culminating into a clear one or two sentence ka central thesis or central argument. Sub argument 1 plus sub argument 2 plus sub argument 3 should add up to strengthen the main argument that you wrote. Okay, done. So itna हमने finish कर लिया. Then, so how many paragraphs? First, second, third, fourth paragraph. Now fifth paragraph will contain a contain an acknowledgement of the counter argument that can be made against your position, whatever position you took in your central argument. Whatever position you took in your central argument, there could be a strong counter argument to that. I am using the word very carefully. Strong counter argument. ऐसे ही मतलब कोई weak counter argument mention करके उसको rebut नहीं करना है, right? What is the strongest argument that could be made against your position? Acknowledge the full extent. Acknowledge the full extent of that counter argument, and then go on to rebut it. How do you rebut it? You either show in comparison your argument still wins out at the end of the day, right? That should be your first, second, third, fourth, fifth paragraph. Okay, fifth paragraph. In the sixth and final paragraph, you just tie all the threads together and conclude, right? You just again, like, reiterate what your position was in this essay. I have argued that I have shown that whatever your central argument was, and then just in one line, just reiterate your sub arguments, whatever you've written. I have taken this position and I've shown that this position is right because point number one, point number two, point number three, and then you have to basically summarize the entire whatever you've written in like 5 to 6 sentences, right? And in the last sentence, just answer the prompt. Whatever prompt is asked of you, उस prompt को आपको final sentence में answer कर देना है बस. That is your essay, right? I hope this is clear for you. I hope you made notes. Introduction, laying down the context. It can also be historical background. It can also be a definition if nothing else comes to your mind. Explain or lay down the relevance, lay down the context behind why we are talking about it right now. Introduction, leading to a central argument, then sub argument 1, sub argument 2, sub argument 3. Explain all these arguments using evidence. Evidence can be anything. It can be a hypothetical example. It can become coming from whatever your newspaper knowledge is, whatever is going around in the country right now. If you want to use it in a fruitful manner, that you can do. You can use quotes, you can use arguments given by scholars, if you remember it, hypothetical examples, all of that can be used. Sub argument 1, sub argument 2, sub argument 3. Then acknowledge the full extent of the counter argument of the strongest counter argument that can be made against your position, acknowledge it, acknowledge the full extent of it, represent that argument in a fair and accurate manner. Represent, okay, this is very important. Represent the counter argument, the strong counter argument, in a fair and accurate manner. Acknowledge the full extent of it. Then rebut it. Okay, saying that when we consider XYZ, my position still comes out as a winner. That should be your sixth paragraph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth paragraph. Okay, last and final paragraph should be a conclusion. Conclusion is nothing but you just summarize the entire whatever you've written in a few lines. Okay, what you have argued, what you have done to argue that. What you have done to argue that. Sub argument 1 एक line में, sub argument 2 एक line में, sub argument 3 एक line में, right? And then how you've rebutted the strongest argument. Just all of that in 5-6 sentences, and in the last sentence just answer the prompt. Simple. Okay, now that is how structurally your essay should look like, right? Now I also told you that when you study for the essay, when you prepare for the essay part, please go by the assumption that you will not be able to satisfy the knowledge of the issue part. You go by the assumption that you will receive a topic, you will get some topic in your question paper which you have very little idea about, right? So yeah, so try to kind of work a lot on the structure part and the argumentation part. Okay, and I have explained to you what you have to do. So for preparation, what you have to do on a weekly basis is that on a Saturday or a Sunday, just think back in that particular week, what was that burning hot topic which was going around in the country. Uske bare mein just find one really good article, either from the Hindu or the Indian Express or the Wire or Scroll or the Quint or Leaflet or any of such publications or News Laundry or News Minute. in किसी भी वेबसाइट्स में जाके या फिर न्यूज़पेपर में जाके उस पर्टिकुलर इशू के बारे में one article, one really good article. When I'm saying article, I mean opinion piece, not explanatory piece, not something that describes something or explains something to you. Opinion piece. Okay, find a really good opinion piece and then read it thoroughly, and then जो उसमें लिखा है ना, just try to condense it into 500 words using the structure that I just gave you. Right? Find an article. Most newspaper opinion pieces are 1,000 to 1,500 words. Condense all of that in 500 words. Okay, on a weekly basis. Just condense all of that in 500 words. And in those 500 words, try to follow what I just told you. The structure, introduction, sub-argument, all of that. Okay? So that is your preparation for essay. You do this enough number of times for one entire year, it's sorted. Like that is your preparation for essay. Ho gaya, matlab, sorted. Nothing else you need to worry about. Okay, on a weekly basis, you just need to do this. Right? Now moving on to legal aptitude. What is legal aptitude? What is expected out of you in legal aptitude? Please understand that legal aptitude, it's aptitude. It's checking your aptitude. It is not checking your knowledge. Okay? You don't have to memorize legal maxims. You don't have to understand contracts, torts, constitutional law. Nothing of that sort is required. Nothing of that sort is required. Please understand, you need to only show aptitude. Okay? Say, like if I have to give you a very stupid example, like if you have a guitar in front of you, then वो guitar पकड़ के अगर you try to swing it like a bat and hit a ball with it or something, that means you don't know what to do with the guitar. Like you don't have that intuitive sense that guitar में strings होते हैं और आपको ऐसे ऐसे करके बजाना होता है. You don't have that intuitive sense if you pick up the guitar and hit a ball with it. That is something that you do with a bat. Okay, so understand this. On a very rudimentary level, they are actually giving you the raw materials. Say in this example, the raw material to make music is guitar, but you are using it to play cricket. So that means you don't have the aptitude to play guitar. And this is analogies are not supposed to be very perfect. I'm trying to make a point. I'm trying to give you an example so that you understand what I'm getting to. The raw material over here in legal aptitude is the uh, rules, are the rules or norms or precedents. Okay, these are certain raw materials which are given to you. इस चीज के साथ क्या करना होता है, क्या आपको ये इंट्यूटिवली पता है? That is what the legal aptitude section is evaluating you on. Okay, so when you read certain rules, when you read certain precedents or norms, uh, do you have that intuitive uh, talent, so to say, to understand what you are supposed to do with those rules? Rules को facts में कैसे apply करते हैं? Yeah, and if there is an exception to the rule, how? I mean, if there is an exception to the rule, how do you think about it? Okay, like um, do the facts fall within the rule or the exception, right? And if there is a precedent given, what is the function of that precedent? Do you know all of this intuitively? Do you kind of have a talent for looking all of this in kind of and putting all of this into perspective and kind of arrive at a reasoned outcome? That is what they're checking. They're not really checking whether you already know what a contract is, whether you already know principles like intention to create legal relations, or whether you already know what is vicarious liability, or I don't know क्या warranty non fit injury. ये सब कोई जरूरत है ही नहीं. Like there is literally no uh, there is no requirement for all of this. So please, for this exam, please do not purchase all of this legal maxims के जो किताब आते हैं या those are not really important. Okay, okay, so now that we understand what legal aptitude is, you have to show aptitude. I'll give you a few do's and don'ts of writing a good legal aptitude answer. Right, the first thing that you need to kind of understand about legal aptitude is you need to craft your answer. You need to craft, this is very important. Okay, you need to craft your answer to the specificity of the question. Okay, okay, show your understanding of the problem behind the question. Many people think that many people underestimate the importance of reading skills in part B. Many people think that part B is all about writing. Yes, it is about writing, but in legal aptitude specifically, reading the question carefully, closely is so important. It is so important. Most of my our students really, like in the last edition of this paid program, we had only focused on, we didn't deal with part A. It was supposed to be part B focused program, and most of our students found the legal aptitude section easy because of this, because our legal aptitude problems were very good. Okay, like we had given we had in all our mocks contained problems that were at a much higher difficulty and had much more to analyze and everything in them. Right? They were all much more difficult than the NLSAT standard. Okay, so what you need to do is to really read the question carefully. Okay, now there is a method to read it. Okay, so you the legal aptitude problem will be half a page. A lot of people read the legal aptitude problem each sentence by sentence. Okay, sentence by sentence. And by the time they reach the last sentence, they have already forgotten what is written in the first or second sentence. If you just go back and refer to the PYQs, there are many questions like this where the first or second sentence will have a bearing on something that has been said in the last sentence or second last sentence. तो आपको एक जूम इन जूम आउट मेथड अप्लाई करना पड़ेगा लीगल एप्टीट्यूड प्रॉब्लम को पढ़ते समय. Okay, when you're reading the problem, you need to have a certain method of reading where you are zooming into details, while at the same time you have the ability to zoom out and look at things from the big picture also. How one thing is connecting to the other. And also, at the same time, you need to not miss the small details, right? So yes, the main thing that you need to have in legal aptitude, the skill that you need to have is reading the problem, because a good legal aptitude answer will always be tailored. Okay, it should be something your answer should be specific to the question, and that again ties back to what I said before, कि अगर आप ये 50 legal maxims याद करके आ जाओगे, it will, I'm telling you, it will lead you away from demonstrating the skills for which you will get marks. आपको इस चीज के लिए मार्क्स नहीं मिलेंगे कि आपको वॉलंटी नॉन फिट इंजूरिया का डेफिनेशन ऑलरेडी पता है, आपको इस चीज के लिए मार्क्स नहीं मिलेंगे. You will not get marks for it. So that is why I'm saying, like, don't memorize all of this, because people, I understand, like, a lot of people have this approach that they'll memorize a lot of things and then see question पढ़ेंगे and then उस mentality के साथ answer करेंगे कि like, okay, which principle will apply here, which principle that I already know will apply here, and they will forget what is written in the question. But a good legal aptitude answer will always be specific. It will be specific to the question. Okay, there is a particular, every question has its own internal logic. Please just go to the PYQs, read it again and again. You will understand the every question has a world of its own, an internal logic. उसको abandon करके मैं अपना ही कुछ लेके आऊंगा और लिख दूंगा, that is a very wrong approach for legal aptitude, right? Yeah, craft your answers to the specificity of the question. That's very important. Okay, show through your writing that you've understood the problem, like real issue behind the behind what you've asked. Okay, read the question properly, zoom in, zoom out, all of that I've told you about. Yeah. Again, generally, if you observe, there are two types of legal aptitude questions that you will receive: one with rules and one where you don't have rules, but you have to argue on the basis of expected standards of behavior or expected standards of reasonable person standard, as we say in law school. Okay, so most of the question will have rules, one or two questions will not have rules, where you will have to again, but even in those questions, a lot of material is given in the question itself for you to make inferences. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. Those who have written the exam this year, they will know about that the question where question about that racing car driver. Okay, in which I'll just wait, hang on. I'll just show you that question actually. Let me just open it. Yes. Just give me one moment. Yes. All right. I hope you can see my screen. Can you all see my screen? Sorry. All right. Anan, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you see this thing?
I can see the screen. I can see the question. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So look at this. Jigar is a 17-year-old upcoming race car driver. यहाँ पे सब लोग excite हो जाएंगे. अरे 17-year-old. So this is a minor. So I will use that thing where minors are not liable or whatever. So please, like, don't. These kind of sentences are given to kind of lead you astray. ठीक है, ये आपको भटकाने के लिए दिया है ये सेंटेंस. मैं बताता हूँ कैसे. जिगर इज अ 17-year-old upcoming race car driver who has been training at the racetrack of Speedster Sports Club, a multi-sport facility, for the last 10 years. This is very important. Okay. Now, read the immediate next question, next sentence. The National Under 18 Race Car Championship is to be held in May 2025. Do you understand? See, look at this. In this, it is given 17-year-old. And here in the internal logic of this question is what? The National Under 18 Race Car Championship is okay. So, yeah, I'm back. So, the internal logic of that question is that in this world, there is a thing called under 18 race car driving championship. That is, it's something that is possible in that world. तो वो लॉजिक ही काम नहीं आएगा कि यार ये दिस इज अंडर 18, हाउ इज ही ड्राइविंग द कार, right? So don't bring in what you already know about the real world. Yeah, like common sense and all you have to apply at a lot of places, but see, uh, understand the specificity of the question. Okay. I also stressed upon the 10 years of experience part. So what can you infer from it? That Jigar had what? Jigar had what about racing car driving? He had expertise, right? Nobody is going to spoon feed that material to you in the legal aptitude question. You have to infer that. 10 years लिखा हुआ है, तो you have to infer कि 10 years, okay, he's been driving, practicing for 10 years, so he has a certain amount of expertise. So how will that part about expertise kind of either strengthen his claim or weaken his claim when you read the entire question, right? So all of that is what is important, right? Yeah, so specificity of the question, not bringing in anything that you already know into the question, into your answer, all of that is important. And also a lot of facts will be given in the legal aptitude problem. You need to identify which portion of the fact is the rule about. Okay, when the rules are given, you have to make sure, rules or precedents are given, you need to make sure that if 5-6 sentences are given about the facts, उसमें से what is that, a lot of it might be unnecessary, just to given there to just like waste your time. A lot of it might not be. So you need to see where to apply the rule, where to apply the precedent, where to apply the exception. All of that is really important. Okay, so anyway, that's the first point about a good legal aptitude answer, that you have to craft your answer to the specificity of the question. Read the question very carefully. Reading is really important. Reading the legal aptitude problem closely, zoom in, zoom out method is very important. Okay, structure the answer well. That's the second point. Structure the answer well. Now, about this, no particular structure has been given to you by NLS. A lot of people follow IRAC, but I'll categorically say this, that you can follow IRAC, you may not follow IRAC. But just because you followed IRAC, it doesn't mean that you'll get some advantage in your marks or whatever. You can follow, some structure should be there. What structure is upon you? Okay, but some structure has to be there. You can follow IRAC. Think of structure as a very simple introduction, body, conclusion. That is what actually IRAC is also. IRAC is also the same thing. Introduction, body, conclusion. Yeah, because issue and rule can, you can think of it like introduction, argument. You can think of like body and conclusion, right? It's the same thing actually. Introduction, body, conclusion. Introduction, a good legal aptitude answer ka introduction should contain the central knot that you are going to untangle. Okay, what is the central issue behind that question? Or so for this, you need to go behind the prompt. Okay, to answer that, to write a good introduction, you need to really go behind the prompt. So obviously, I've been reading a lot of answer sheets since past 2 years. The very most common mistake that people make in this is, if the prompt is asking you, should a civil court accept Jigar's claim for compensation? Should a civil court accept Jigar's claim for compensation? So they write in the introduction that the main issue is whether Jigar's claim for compensation should be accepted or not. No, that is the prompt. Go behind that prompt. Look at the question and read, understand what is the central knot that you have to untie, so that you get the answer to the prompt. You get to the answer to the prompt. Go behind the prompt. Okay. Read each of the PYQs. You will kind of understand that there is some central knot that you have to untie. For example, if you go and read that cyber security expert Miss Singh wala ek question hai, usme the central knot is whether whatever she did in that fact pattern, whatever she did, does it fall under the exception to the rule? If it falls under the exception to the rule, she will not be held criminally liable. Right. So every question has that. Like just go behind the prompt and understand what is the central knot that you have to untie in order to be able to satisfactorily answer the last prompt that is given to you in the legal aptitude question. Okay, so that is your introduction. Okay, or the introduction can also contain this, or it can also contain uh, kind of reframing of the rules, exception and precedent. Like in a typical legal aptitude question, a rule might be there and an exception to the rule might be there, or a precedent would be there, which clarifies a certain point about that rule. So reframe all of that in an analysis friendly manner, right? So you can also say that for to answer whether XYZ claim will succeed, following ingredients must be satisfied. Ingredient number one, ingredient number two, ingredient number three. All of that you will actually be able to write by reframing the complex rules and precedents given to you in an analysis friendly manner, right? So you can write something like, uh, if XYZ claim has to succeed, these are the conditions to be fulfilled. And then you write what the conditions are. Nobody is going to serve it to you on platter. These are the conditions to be satisfied. You have to discern it from the question. Okay, question mein dekho, rule padho, and certain ingredients will come out. So that can also be a part of your introduction. Then comes the body part, right? Body part is very simple. You just have to you just have to make your case, build your case. This is what they're checking in your legal aptitude answers, whether you are able to build your case. Okay, strengthen your arguments. And then obviously, as we discussed in the essay section also, acknowledge the strongest possible argument that can go against you and assail those arguments. That is what your body part will contain. Okay, it can have 2 or 3 paragraphs. Also, when you're building your case, you need to have like a sense of hierarchy of arguments. Okay, write about big things first, small things later on. Okay, you need to structure it in such a way that there is some sense of a hierarchy, or either it can be hierarchy or it can also be some kind of a progression, right? So don't miss the in between steps. If you have to explain, for example, you coming to college, you coming back from college, you came back home from college and you are having lunch. That is what you have to explain. So like the steps that you came to your house, opened the gate, parked your bike, uh, pressed the doorbell, your mom or somebody opened the door, you went inside, showered, changed your clothes, sat on the dining table, then had food. So ये in between food, in between जो steps है वो उसको miss नहीं करना है. Show the mental process. Don't say that I came from college and had food, right? So what I'm trying to explain through this example is that show the steps, show the mental process in clear writing. Okay, on the answer sheet. They are not really concerned about what position you took. They are not really concerned about what assertions you are making. They are concerned about how did you arrive at this assertion. How did you arrive at this assertion? ये आर्ग्यूमेंट तो आर्ग्यूमेंट कोई बना सकता है, ठीक है. दिस इज माई आर्ग्यूमेंट एंड जस्ट यू रोट सम आर्ग्यूमेंट, but that is not what you're getting marks for. How did you, what is your thought process behind it? That should be there in your uh, answers. Also, as I said earlier, hierarchy of arguments. You can't be writing some small minuscule minute neglectable thing first, and then towards the end you are writing the main whatever you had to write uh, in the answer. As any, like, you have to first write the most important thing and then finish it off with the least important thing. So basically your arguments should be structured. Okay, structure के लिए marks मिलते हैं. You cannot be writing in a very stream of consciousness kind of a way. But obviously, like if you're pressed for time, then you can't really. Then your whole focus is about finishing the paper somehow. But again, I will talk about the general aspects of the exam later on, towards the end of the session. Earlier, like 2 3 years back, no, not just 2 3, even up till last year actually. Uh, Completing the paper was most important thing, but seeing the competition this year, like I would say, like abhi that what we are at, where we are at with respect to NLSAT exam is that everybody knows that we have to complete the paper. Everybody will complete the paper. Now it's like a no brainer that you have to if you are not completing the paper, you are out of the race. ये तो अभी common knowledge बन चुका है, and it's like very common that most people will complete the paper. So now your selection, earlier it used to be कि अगर आपने paper ही complete कर दिया तो almost it is guaranteed that you will be selected. But now it's not. Even if you have completed your paper, you will not. It's not assured that you'll get the seat, because competition has increased. Quality of answers matter. So you really have to focus on structure in the legal aptitude. So even these minute things will matter. That uh, something which was like really like the elephant in the room, you have addressed it towards the end, then you'll lose marks. Okay. Main argument ko pehle, and then leading to, and then show the thought process behind why. You will get marks for showing the thought process behind your arguments in legal aptitude, right? So yeah, keep that in mind. And yes, conclusion again, answer the prompt, and the same logic that we followed in the essay section, that XYZ claim will succeed or fail because whatever you have argued, just reiterate that in 1 or 2 lines and finish it off. Finish it off by answering the prompt. Answer the prompt. If the question is asking you, will Miss Singh be held criminally liable? Will Miss Singh be held criminally liable? You need to answer that prompt. She will be held criminally liable, or she will not be held criminally liable. That answer should be there in your prompt, in your answer, right? Yeah. So that is what you have to do in legal aptitude. How to prepare for legal aptitude? Your starting point. Your starting point is what? Your starting point is solve all the previous year questions. Workshop ideas, like it should be an ongoing process throughout the year. You have to keep revisiting these previous year questions and find ways to argue, either positions. Argue either positions in better ways. Every month you should workshop ideas in order to kind of like mm, write better answers to the same question. Okay, that's your starting point. Previous year questions. Second is that I have uploaded a lot of free legal aptitude questions on the group. I have uploaded mocks also, free mocks also. You can, that should be a second source. Okay. Go back to the same question again and again every month. Workshop better ideas to answer the same question again and again. Okay. And obviously, this year you'll be getting 15 mocks, 15 into 5 questions you will get. You need to, like, after attempting a particular mock, please don't do it like this कि हाँ वो mock खत्म हो गया, now that is done and dusted. No, you have to keep revisiting these questions. This year, almost all the questions all 5 questions that they had asked in NLSAT exam, our students had already kind of done a similar version of it in the mocks. Okay, so I'll make sure that in the mocks that you're getting, you are kind of getting a practice of different types of questions, where different kinds of rules and precedents and exceptions and all of those things are there. So yeah, variety I will make sure of. Difficulty level I will make sure of. Laksha is asking, NLSIU does not release. No. So Laksha, the thing is that NLSIU releases the previous year legal aptitude questions in the next year. So we have so they release the previous year questions as sample papers for the next year K aspirant. So whatever questions that they received in 2026 as their legal aptitude questions. When you will attempt in 2027, they will become, those questions will become your sample questions. So we have three sets of questions till now that is available on the group. Just remind me once, I will send it to you. We do have three sets of official Part B questions, the questions that have been asked in the exam. Read it again and again, solve it again and again, workshop ideas every month, get better at answering the same question again and again. Okay, and mocks are also there. Some mocks, out of the 15 mocks that I'm releasing this year, out of 2 or 3 will be available for free for every year. I make some mocks for free. So this year also you can be sure that certain mocks, certain number of mocks, 2 or 3 mocks will be free. So attempt those questions again and again, and understanding the syntax of the question, like what how is this question structured, what is this question asking me, uh, how is the rule interacting with the exception, or there is also sometimes purpose of the rule is also given. The purpose of this rule is to do something. How is it interacting with the actual facts that happened in that fact pattern? All of that is important. Again, I'm reiterating, a good legal aptitude answer will be crafted to the specificity of the question. Okay, it will be well structured, and it will have a good, intro, body, conclusion. Yeah. So that is what you need to focus on. Now, one minor thing I also want to add about legal aptitude is vocabulary. Okay, you do not need legal jargon. You do not need legal jargon. Okay, but there is a mm, there are certain words that it's commonly used in English language also, right? Certain words are commonly used in English language also, but you can mostly find it in legal articles. Like, I'll just show you. Wait, I'll just give you some examples. Give me one moment. Mm, yeah. So I'll just give you some examples. Compatible with, incompatible with, uh, precise, imprecise, summarily, promptly, demonstrate, determine, envisages, okay, definitively, decidedly, doubtlessly, squarely, appropriate, inappropriate, dead letter, ineffectual, right? Uh, Comply with, do away with, will prevail over, prevailing, override, right? And mandated by, as mandated by, uh, meet the criteria, meet the conditions, meet the ingredients, right? Or carves out an exception. X is limited by Y, or X is independent of Y, regardless of XYZ, right? Or by that fact itself, it is imperative, given that XYZ, those kind of phrases, right? So whatever I just said, just hang on. Yeah. So whatever I just said, these kind of phrases, I mean, it's normal English language itself. But you will, if you just read certain live law articles or whatever, you will see that these kind of phrases are more commonly used by legal professionals in their writing. So you need to build that kind of vocabulary in your legal aptitude answers, is what I'm trying to say. It's a minor point. It's a very minor point. And why I'm saying this, I'll tell you. Because your human mind kind of looks for familiarity, looks for a pattern. It recognizes pattern. Now understand who is going to check your answer sheets. Who is going to check your answer sheets? Legal professionals are going to check your answer sheet. So when they are checking your answer copies, if you have written in a certain way, then their mind will automatically go, this person is already familiar with certain kind of lingo, right? And this is not legal jargon. I'm not asking you to use words like frustration of contract, right? Or volunty non fit injuria. Yeah. All of those things, I'm not asking you to use those kind of vocabulary, which has like a very specific meaning, and it is like law specific words. Those are not the words that I'm asking you to use. I'm asking you to cultivate a certain kind of method of writing, or certain vocabulary that you will most commonly find in legal articles, right? So for that, you can just like uh, every day just read one or two articles from live law. That's really about it. Okay, it's not something that you can sit and memorize, right? Just have a habit of just going to live law website, and you don't even have to take the subscription, because uh, लाइव लॉ में ऐसा होता है, आई थिंक लाइक उस दिन का जो आर्टिकल होता है वो फ्री होता है, देन इफ यू हैव टू एक्सेस द आर्काइव्स दे चार्ज for subscription. So you just have to, on a daily basis, just read one or two live law articles. You will develop this kind of vocabulary. Don't sit and memorize, just inculcate it, right? So yeah, that's about it for legal aptitude part B. Now just overall, for part B, what I will say is your performance in part B. Your performance in part B is uh, really, I mean, I would say it is very much dependent on your part A as well, right? Because now whatever I've explained to you about legal aptitude, especially whatever I've explained to you about part B, especially legal aptitude, now you must have gotten an idea to write a really good legal aptitude answer. You need what? What do you need? You need time, right? So if you have more time, you will be able to write better answers as compared to when you're rushing through, right? So your part B performance is actually very dependent on how fast you're able to finish your part A, right? So I'll just give you a time management ka this thing I'll give you. Best case scenario. This is best case scenario. Okay, best case scenario is if you finish your part A in 1 hour, right? When I say one hour, you have to account for a lot of things. You have to fill in the OMR sheets. You have to fill in your name. You have to fill in your roll number. Roll number लिखने के बाद वो नीचे वो corresponding bubbles भी fill करना है. 75 bubbles you have to shade for the MCQs. Read, solve, all, and obviously invigilator will come in the middle of it to take your attendance. You have to sign the attendance sheet. All of that will happen. All of this, best case scenario, you finish by 1 hour. Worst case scenario, you should finish it in 1 hour 15 minutes. I'm talking about part A right now. Okay, this should be your framework. Either I finish it in, you have to finish your part A, complete your part A within this time period. 1 hour से लेके 1 hour 15 से ज्यादा नहीं लेना है. 1 hour 15 से ज्यादा ले लिया तो पार्ट बी में डिफिकल्टी आएगी. Okay, so depending upon the difficulty level of part A, you need to make sure that you are either finishing it somewhere between 1 hour to 1 hour 15 minutes, right? So yeah, keep that in mind. So now coming to part A, when you're attempting your mocks, you'll be getting your first mock on 27th of June. When you're attempting your mocks, start like okay, all the mocks compulsorily, all the mocks. Please do not cheat. Please be honest with yourself. 2.5 hours का एग्जाम होता है. 10 बजे लिखना शुरू करो और 12:30 को stop. Right? So when you're writing your mocks from 27th onwards, each mock you have to simulate the exam environment. Okay? Please do not do this कि आधे पैसेजेस अभी सॉल्व कर दिए, फिर शाम को उठ के दूसरे सेट ऑफ पैसेजेस सॉल्व कर दिए. डोंट डू ऑल ऑफ दैट. मॉक्स को एग्जाम की तरह लेना है. एग्जाम की तरह लेना है. एंड दैट इज व्हाई आई हैव स्ट्रक्चर्ड आल्सो द रिलीज, द डेट ऑफ रिलीज ऑफ ऑल दीज मॉक्स आर स्ट्रक्चर्ड आल्सो इन सच अ वे दैट every month there is one mock. Okay, so the entire up until February, I think. After that, there are 2-3 mocks or whatever. So we have purposely structured it this way that you have an entire month to prepare for an exam. You are not preparing for a mock. You're preparing for an exam. Okay, exam की तरह लेना है. Print out लेना है. OMR sheet का print out लेना है. You have to do it properly, right? Yeah. So what I was saying, when you're attempting the mocks, please hard stop for part A at 11:15. Okay. Now, when you're attempting your first mock, you might realize that in 1 hour 15 you have only done 5 passages. There are 8 passages in part A, by the way. I hope you guys know all of this. Out of the 8 passages in 1 hour 15 minutes, you will realize that you have only finished 5 passages or 6 passages, some even 4 passages. But please get into this muscle memory of starting to write the part B answers at 11:15, no later. Okay, 10 to 11:15 is the dedicated time for part A. उसमें जितना हो रहा है उतना करना है. Now, with every subsequent mock, you have to increase your speed there. Within that time period, you have to increase the number of passages that you are able to solve. By the end of, say your 7th or 8th mock, you should be able to finish all the 8 passages within that time frame. But please, ये नहीं करना है. This is the mistake that a lot of my students made in the last edition of this program, that they will slowly, aram se, they will, solve part A, 1 hour 30 minutes, some even 1 hour 40 minutes they will take, and then hurriedly write part B. No, you need to get into the muscle memory of giving equal importance to giving equal importance and equal time to everything in the exam, right? So please, this is what you have to do. Okay, please adopt this. Even if you're like, don't be dejected if you're only able to finish 4 passages in 1 hour 15 minutes. You will improve, doesn't matter. But ये muscle memory में आपको बिठाना है कि I do not have time beyond 11:15. Because if you take that much time, then your part B quality will suffer. And I've already told you the competition has increased so much that if you don't put in time in part B, your answers will not be that great and you will not get selected. Okay, so please take the mock seriously. 10 to 11 or 10 to maximum 10 to 11:15. इससे ज़्यादा नहीं for part A. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so now coming to reading comprehension and critical reasoning, what you need to do again, this is your starting point. What I'm about to tell you, that will be your starting point. You have 5 previous year question papers, right? 2022, 2023, 4, 5, and 6. 5 previous year question papers. What you need to do is start solving them in reverse order. 2026 पहले solve करो, 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, start solving them in reverse order. All these are available freely on the Telegram group. Please start solving them. And how to solve them? Maintain a diary. Maintain a diary for this. Okay, when you're solving the passages, these are the things that you need to do. Every question, most of the questions will have one correct answer and one other option, which is like a trap. If you're a serious aspirant, you will be able to eliminate 2 options, right? You'll be able to eliminate 2 options minimum. Most of the times, it's like the fight between that close option and the correct option. You need to write in your diary, this is the reason why this option is correct and this option is not correct for every question. Even if you're getting it right while solving it, doesn't matter. For every question from the PYQs, starting from 26 to reverse order, every passage, every question, write down. This is the reason why this option is correct and this option is not correct. Go to the next question. Do the same thing. This is the reason. Reason pata hona chahiye. You have to do this. This is your rite of passage. If you do not do this, don't even think about writing the NLSAT exam. Please, I'm making it categorically clear. You have to do this for all 5 previous year question papers, and this is something that a lot of my students have done, and they have gotten the benefit also this year. Right? Write down in a diary why this option is correct and why this option is not correct. Once you do that, there will be 5 or 6 questions where you're extremely confused. I know those questions because I've been solving the same questions for past 2 years. So you will I know what kind of questions you will find difficulty in. That I already have answers ready for it. So once you do that exercise, come to me, DM me, or whatever. I'll explain the logic behind those questions where you're getting confused. But this exercise, okay, this is an individual exercise. No group work, no spoon feeding. ये आपको करना पड़ेगा. Okay, अगर आपको एग्जाम क्लियर करना है तो यू हैव टू डू दिस. ओके, प्लीज make sure that you do it, and if you do not do this in the next 2 weeks, you will never do it. ठीक है, in the next 2 weeks, just have a deadline. Next 2 weeks, this task I will finish. Do it in the next 2 weeks. Okay. Yeah. So that you've done, and when you're doing the mocks, after doing the mock, obviously your first attempt should be you actually attempting the mock in the exam simulation, and then after that, in the days, in the 1 or 2 weeks that follow the release of the mock, you have to do the same exercise, right? You have to do the same exercise for the mocks also. Why this option is correct, why this option is not correct. Write it down in a diary. Okay, maintain a journal for it. Throughout the year, you have to fill that journal. Obviously, in our further sessions that we do, we will have lectures specifically for each kinds of questions, like uh, inference based question, how to handle. There'll be one whole lecture about it. Strength and weaken questions, how to handle it, there'll be a whole lecture about it. So all of that will be part of this paid program that we'll take care of. But this particular thing of analyzing each particular mock and each particular questions from PYQs, that is something that you have to do by yourself. We are going to proceed with our sessions assuming that you are doing it or you have done it. Okay. You will, even if you are joining the program, or even if you're preparing doing self prep, this will benefit you. This will benefit you. Okay, so that is how you prepare for RCCR. Lastly, GMAT. Everybody knows this. Why am I repeating this? GMAT passages, or even CAT passages. Some people have also solved LSAT passages. I have not really solved LSAT passages, but you can explore that as well. But I personally prefer GMAT. Okay, like depending upon your schedule, you can practice 2 or 3 passages per day, or you can, if you're a weekly kind of a person, you can like 10 or 12 passages on the weekend or something, you can practice. Why I'm saying GMAT is because GMAT is at a higher difficulty level as compared to NLSAT. So you need to train your mind like that. Even our mocks will be like that, right? Our mocks will be little on a higher difficulty as compared to NLSAT level, right? So you need to train your mind like that, so that in the actual exam, it seems like cakewalk for you. Okay, so this is what you have to do to prepare for RCCR in the entire year. Okay, I hope I've made myself clear. Now coming to current affairs section. Current affairs section. Now, current affairs and GK, please understand this, that your make or break section is your RCCR, not current affairs and GK. I've said this in one of the interviews that I did with the selected candidates also, and I've been saying this since quite some time, that RCCR is your make or break. Okay, current affairs and GK. If you're a serious aspirant, and when I say serious aspirant for an LSAT, 6 to 7 months, you have consistently read the newspaper every day. If you are that kind of a person, then I would classify you as a serious aspirant for NLSAT purposes. So if you belong to that category, then when you're attempting the NLSAT exam, if there is a current affairs or GK question that you don't know, then you can be almost assured that the other person also does not know. Your competition also does not know. Okay, nobody else knows that question. So there is no point only about worrying about such questions. Okay, so people kind of like disproportionately worry about those kind of questions, which I'm saying that it's not required. Instead, spend your energy in building skills, building the skill of active reading, which is very important for RCCR. RCCR mein margin of error is very less. If you want to, like if you want to get a score where you will get a seat at NLS, for sure, right? If you want to achieve that kind of a score, RCCR mein margin of error is very less, right? So focus a lot of your energy on RCCR by building the skills. Current affairs and GK, you just need to read the newspaper. Okay, that's first thing. Second thing. This is something that I'm giving you as a homework. Please do it again. Do it in the next 2-3 weeks. If you don't do it in the next 2-3 weeks, you will never do it. Okay. Go back to the previous year questions. And first thing is, I've already said this many times on the group. Make a list of the personalities appearing in the question paper. Wrong options, correct options, authors of passages, all of these. Make a list. Who are the people appearing in those in your question paper? Make a list and try to do like a basic Google search about these people. Who are these people? What is their profession? Are they alive? Are they dead? What? Why are they important? Uh, all of that. Just do a basic Google search about these people, and throughout the month, whenever you get some news about these very same people or similar kind of people, your mind will go like, okay, no, this is important for NLSAT. Okay, so please do this. Also, analyze the previous year questions, not really in a category wise manner. See, in a category wise manner, I understand the impulse behind it. I understand the impulse behind it. Like, you need to categorize, okay, this comes under international affairs, this comes under reports and indices. और बताओ भाई कौन से categories होते हैं? This comes under sports, or this comes under, what are the other categories? Polity and governance. See, understand this, that category wise, okay, it might kind of streamline your preparation, but that is not really the important aspect. The context is important. I've explained this once on the group, many times on the group actually. uh, Context behind why that question was asked is important. Okay. uh, like, if for example in 2026 that Santhal conference ka question was asked, the I mean, a person who is just preparing for the like his who is not experienced, that person will like think, okay, places in news as a category is important. No. Places in news, वो क्वेश्चन इसलिए नहीं पूछा गया था कि places in news as a category is important. वो क्वेश्चन वो ममता बनर्जी वर्सेस our प्रेसिडेंट द्रौपदी मुर्मू, जो कंट्रोवर्सी हुआ था, उसके कारण पूछा गया था, राइट? सो अंडरस्टैंड द कॉन्टेक्स्ट बिहाइंड each of the questions that have been asked in the previous year question. There is a context behind it. The main thing is this, that whatever news is doing halla, uh, that about that particular news, you need to have like a deep understanding. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. In this 2026 paper, they had asked something about Venezuela wala jo news tha, that was in news throughout. But they asked something, uh, yeah, like let me just go to that question and see if I can find that question. The question was something related to some other leader who was arrested in a similar fashion. I'm not really able to remember what exactly the phrasing of the question was, but please understand this. If something is making news, something is in news for several days, several weeks, then there is a possibility that they will go in depth, one or two layers in depth, and ask questions about it, right? So it's not really about, yes, I mean, you can categorize it if it makes sense to you to study that way. But the problem, the issue behind categorizing and studying is that if you make a category like reports and indices as a category, then you will think that, okay, every report, every index is important for NLSAT exam, which is not. What is important for the NLSAT exam is what is making the most amount of shore, Allah, noise. That's the most important thing. Okay, and उसके बारे में 1 or 2 level deep questions भी पूछ सकते हैं. And you might, while attempting the NLSAT questions, or like while attempting the NLSAT exam in real time, you may not realize it at that time that this is why they have asked the question. But your preparation has to be that way, right? So yeah, that kind of covers the current affairs and GK questions. Please take my quizzes very seriously. People who have taken my quizzes very seriously, they have gotten good returns in the exam this year. So take my questions, the quizzes that I post on a regular basis on the group. Please take those quizzes seriously. Even the wrong options, please do some Google searching about those wrong options. I the way I phrase my questions, I put a lot of the times I just a second. Bonsika is asking, how do you avoid spiraling through info when going in depth of any relevant news? Okay, yeah. Thank you for asking that question. Uh, okay, the pattern so far, yeah, the pattern so far has been that pattern so far has been that most of the questions, not all, but most of the questions that appear in your NLSAT exam in current affairs and GK are from the months following the official notification of NLSAT. So, on official notification of NLSAT is generally released around November end or December, if I'm not wrong. So, after that date, whatever news comes, उस पे ज्यादा फोकस होता है. But see, don't hold me to it. Next year, अभी अगर next year they change the pattern, who knows? They next year they. So I'm not saying that whatever is happening now is not important, but I'm saying the trend has been so that trend has been such that whatever news has happened after December, that's more important. That has been the trend, but that does not mean that you don't carefully read the newspaper now. From now itself, read. So, but here's the thing: the people who will start preparing for NLSAT exam in December or January, at that point of time, they will still be figuring out how to read the newspaper. Their fundamentals will not be clear. They will at that point of time they will still be dealing with problems like how to read the newspaper, and they will deal with the problem what Bonsika is asking. How do you avoid spiraling through information when going in depth of any relevant news controversy? Okay, how do you understand what is important, what is that is a problem for you to deal with right now. You would have solved this problem by December. By that time when the other people are starting to prepare for NLSAT exam, ये वाला जो इशू है आपका कि मुझे नहीं पता कि एग्जाम के लिए क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्या क्या इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, राइट, दैट प्रॉब्लम वुड हैव बीन सॉर्टेड फॉर यू बाय दैट टाइम. सो प्लीज स्टिक विद द प्रोसेस, read the newspaper daily, and PYQs. PYQs are your starting point. See the kind of whenever you're reading any PYQ for current affairs and GK, no matter which year, don't be in a hurry to categorize it under particular headings like international affairs, Indian politics. Don't categorize it. Go reverse engineer. Google, why was this question asked? That I mean, most of the times I only post, if you've been a regular member of the group, after each quiz, most of the times I give you the context also कि इस तरह का question PYQ में भी आया था, and in that year it was asked because of this and all of that. For example, that CCD question, for a layman person, for a lay person, that question be like, ये क्या question है भाई? But no, and that during that time, that whole CCD's owner had taken away his life, and then all of that was happening at that time. Okay, so reverse engineer, Google what was happening about this question at that point of time. Why? What was the relevance? Why? What was the examiner's mindset? Why this question was asked? इसको Google करोगे तो it will give you a better picture about how to prepare for NLSAT, rather than you see a question like who was Iran's president, and then you will think what international affairs is important for NLSAT. No, that is, see, Iran was in news at that time, and even if you look at the phrasing of the question, they phrased it purposely to confuse you. Just look at the phrasing of the question. It's not very directly worded, right? So that is how you understand the examiner's mindset. Why, from where they are asking, what kind of topics are they deeming important for law students to understand, know about, right? So do that kind of analysis. Mm, yeah, so take my quizzes seriously. What else? There was one more thing that I wanted to say about current affairs and GK. Yeah, like don't really worry too much about current affairs and GK. Try to maximize your score in RCCR. That is your make or break section. Cool. Uh, there was something else that I wanted to say. I forgot about it. Current affairs and GK. Yeah. Mm, Right. A close analysis of previous. Yes. Also, okay. Now I remembered. Uh, more. I know for a fact that most of us are on Instagram. Most of us are on Instagram. Just try to fix your algorithm. Try to like follow appropriate pages. Uh, Even if you're like we are all on Instagram. We all have the habit of scrolling. But even if you can like if you're scrolling Instagram for 1 hour, 2 hours, even if out of that for 10-15 minutes you're consuming useful information for an LSAT, something you will retain something from it, right? So follow pages like Fade D'Souza's page, Scroll, The Wire, News Minute, News Laundry. Uh, Follow these kind of pages. Uh, you will be able to solve a lot of questions just by doing that, right? So we have covered all sections: RCCR, current affairs, legal aptitude, essay. We have covered all of that. We have also covered time management: 1 hour to 1 hour 15 minutes for part A, rest for part B. How to What is expected of you, how to prepare for each section. We've covered all of that, right? So please, also I've given you certain some homework to do. uh, Essay section ke liye I've told you how to practice. Go to the weekly, just take that whatever issue is the most important in that week, uske bare mein ek article, and then uh, NL certify it by reducing it into 500 words, and given the structure that I gave you. Legal aptitude, I've told you how to practice. Your starting point should be uh, previous year questions, right? And RCCR, I've already told you the journaling method, and mocks भी आपको ऐसे attempt करना है, and GMAT questions. Current affairs and GK, I've told you, just trust the process. Okay, trust the process. Don't be like, current affairs and GK is not really your make or break section. If you just trust the process, read the newspaper daily uh, as if it's like a natural habit, you will be able to sail through. इतना worry करने की जरूरत नहीं है, ठीक है? And take my quizzes seriously. Yeah, that's about it. Now I'll just open the chat for questions. If anybody wants to ask some questions, you can ask. I'm here for another 5 to 10 minutes. You can ask me questions. Let me just. Yeah, I have. Yeah, you can unmute yourself and ask the question, or you can also like type it on the chat. Do you have any questions? I'm here for 5 to 10 more minutes. Or else you can also like DM me anytime. I'm pretty active on Telegram. I always respond. Shall we read all the sections of the newspapers? Lakshya is asking. No. Please prioritize these pages. Front page, uh, opinion piece, opinions and editorials. Okay. Editorials are those two short pieces in the Hindu, which the editorial team of the Hindu writes. वो side में होता है. And then there are few expert opinions, like authors that write, who write. So opinions and op-eds वाला जो page है, उसको prioritize करना है. Front page, world page, international affairs. Okay. Business and economy वाला जो page है, उसको. These are the four most important pages. Out of these four also, the most important is opinions and editorials. Okay, so these four you have to do. Out of these, most focus on opinions and editorials. And then obviously you'll have to go through sports section also, because off late they've been asking a lot of sports questions. So sports page ko bhi thoda glance kar liya karo. At least like major events about sports world you need to kind of know. So these are the main pages here that you have to read. Right? Any other question? Was I able to kind of effectively communicate what you need to do for the entire year, what each section expects of you? Is everything clear from from today's session? You can say yes, no, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. Vinayak is saying yes, yes. Okay, cool. ठीक है, तो ये जो आज हमने बात करी है ना, दिस दिस शुड, इसको भूल नहीं जाना है। ठीक है, ये करना है। Okay, whatever I've told you today, if you do it consistently for one entire year, your chances of clearing NLSAT will be better. I obviously cannot guarantee you, कोई भी guarantees नहीं होते एग्जाम के अंदर. It's a competitive exam. Also, one thing that I missed talking about is the target score. What should be your target score? Many people throughout the year, I get this DM. This is a DM that I've been getting since past 2 years. What is the safe score for XYZ category? There is no relevance of that question. When you're preparing for the exam, this is a competitive exam. This is a competitive, understand, understand what I'm trying to say. This is a competitive exam. This is not your college का semester का exam. अगर कॉलेज के सेमेस्टर के एग्जाम में आपके आंसर के क्वालिटी थोड़े कम हो जाते हैं, the result of that is that you will get some lesser marks than some other person, but you'll still pass. एक कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम के अंदर पास का कोई लॉजिक नहीं होता है. ओके, you either got the seat or you did not get the seat. There is no I passed. वो लॉजिक नहीं होता है इधर. So you so there is no relevance of this question. Okay, for this particular category, how much is the safe score? There is no relevance of that question, because what if in that particular year a lot of people scored above that, right? So I'll just give you a number. 115. 115. 115. 115. That number should run in your mind throughout the year. That is your target. आप अपने कैटेगरी में safe score, whatever, your aim is not like, okay, I will only do this much मेहनत कि मैं इस कैटेगरी के सेफ स्कोर को पार कर जाऊं. That is not how you approach any competitive exam. Your competitive exam का लॉजिक ही यही होता है कि you are aiming for rank 1. The actual reality would be, okay, you might fall into some you might score a little less and get a little lower rank or whatever, but starting से ही when you're doing the मेहनत, you can't be like, okay, मेरे को इतना ही score करना है तो मैं इतना ही मेहनत करूंगी. That is not the approach for a competitive exam. You have to kind of do hard work. Your preparation should be with the mindset that you are about to score 115, 115, and that the split of that 115 should be 65 and 50. 65 for part A, 50 for part B. That should be your, throughout the year, that number should be running in your mind. Please don't DM me saying that, okay, how much should I score to safely secure a seat in this category? There is no relevance to that question, because what if somebody else scores, a lot of people score more than that number? Then फिर वो गया ना, वो calculation ही चला गया. 115 is the number that I'm giving you. Stick by it. ठीक है? Any other question? Anybody? Otherwise, we'll end the session. Which were the 2 questions that we have to address in the journal? I missed on that. Okay. So when you're journaling, so most of the questions you will be able to narrow down to the 2 close options. One will be the correct option. One will be the close option, which seems correct but which is not correct. So you need to journal why this option is correct, why, as per the answer key, and why the other option, the close option, which seems to be correct, is not correct. I hope I'm able to answer. Right? That should be there in your journal entry. And you have to do those journal entry for all the questions of PYQs and for all the questions of mocks. As a beginner, how do we build the skill to find the real issue in part B question? So as I said, you have to go behind the prompt. The prompt will be asking you a very simple question: Is X claim will X claim succeed? Or this year they have also started asking this kind of question, like argue on behalf of. They've already given you a side, argue on behalf of X. So for X to succeed, or for X's claim to succeed, or for this argument to succeed, something else should be the first step, or some other question needs to be answered in order to satisfactorily answer the final prompt. That is your real issue. What what is that thing? Uh, what is the thing that you need to analyze? What is the thing that you need to analyze in order to answer the final prompt that has been asked in the legal aptitude passage? That's your real issue. So as a beginner, how do we build the skill to find the real issue in part B question? The answer to that is close reading of the question, number one. Zoom in, zoom out method, where you are looking at the entire scope of the question also. Like, you are actually looking at what bearing does the first sentence have on the last sentence. You need to holistically look at the question. Also, do not miss out on details also, right? There was one question with respect to asylum seeking. The character in that question was Lou Solverson. In that, one very small minute detail was that only one of the several contracts had been cancelled. Most people missed that. Only one of the several contracts had been cancelled. So will that amount to substantial economic disadvantage? That was the real issue over there. Where could we find similar questions for the same? On my group, I have been giving free questions since a very long time. This year also, so you will find previous year ke 2 to 3 mocks that I've given. In that, you will find legal aptitude questions. This year also, for free, I will give 2 or 3 mocks. Obviously, I cannot make all 15 mocks free. Then it really doesn't make sense. So yeah, you will find it on the Telegram group. If you're just explore the file section, you'll get it. If you're not able to find, just DM me. I'll send it across to you. Right. Okay. Any other question? Cool. All right. So if you don't have any other question, we will close the session. Thank you for attending this session. If you have any further doubts, you can always DM me. All right. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I'll end the session here.